Hi everyone, Harry here. I try pretty hard on this YouTube to really give you the straight scoop and the legal analysis of what's going on and maybe what the portents of it are. Um, that's requiring a little bit of an extra effort with this bulletin because it concerns the motion filed in New York State Court by John Sauer, that is Trump's appellate lawyer, and the man whom he has designated to be Solicitor General, the sort of most Tony lawyer who argues in front of the Supreme Court. And it's a motion to dismiss a civil case. That civil case is the huge case by Letitia James. So you'll remember that case that has to do with Trump's fraud in inflating property values as useful to him for loans and deflating them as useful for taxes. And that's a trial that, he went through and now has a huge verdict against him of some $450 million plus interest. And it's accruing, and that's now in the appellate system, the appellate division of New York. And there's indications that the court might reduce that amount. Okay, so it's that case. And here is why I'm needing to control my presentation a little. The thrust of the request really reads like a demand is it's now time for unity. Trump makes this motion. They end by quoting Abraham Lincoln and saying, like from the Civil War, and now's the time to bind up the nation's wounds and to gratefully acknowledge with one heart and one voice the whole American people who have rendered this verdict that supposedly has legal force and represents a judgment that wipes out the judgment of all the court systems and the judges and juries and prosecutors, and ending with Americans quoting Lincoln. He firmly implores the interposition of the almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purposes into the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. Close quote. Invoking the same spirit of unity, we request that you stipulate to the dismissal of this case with prejudice. The breathtaking brazenness of this after his conduct was a total crime spree and only a totally improbable, unprecedented happenstance puts him in the position of escaping accountability, and that he's now invoking Lincoln, oh, by the way, and also Washington and some spirit of unity. I talked yesterday, by the way, to Tim Snyder. I really recommend the conversation. It's great. But he talks about fascist leaders, and one of the things they do is give false promises of unity. And my Lord, the chutzpah, brazenness, give me, 8 different synonyms for the absolute offensive suggestion that somehow now it's all in the spirit of unity. All right, let me step back and talk about this a little bit more legally. So there's a clear bifurcation in the law as it has to do with the president between criminal and civil conduct. The Supreme Court has ruled unanimously, in fact, that a sitting president can, in fact, have to defend a civil case. That's the Clinton versus Jones case. And the court goes through the potential practical problems that it imposes and says, a president can do it. It's not so rough. It's not so onerous. It's not so damaging. And in fact, it's that very precedent that you're going to see the New York DA case, Bragg, make an argument. All that's left is sentencing. If a president can be made to go through a whole civil trial, they can also be made to go through a sentencing. And then, so there's that. And then on the other side, the criminal side, we have all of the, let's say, full-bodied protections that the Office of Legal Counsel had written up, but that the Supreme Court recognizes in the immunity opinion. And then again, on the civil side, there's some actual protection for immunity of a sort in the civil case, but it's nothing like the criminal case. So basically what this means is the notion that Jack Smith and the system have just acquiesced in and his DOJ policy, footnote, not at all clear it's the best answer under the law, but as a practical matter, it's just got right now indomitable force, because in the DOJ, it's not only they're representing to a court what the law should be, but they're in charge of the case, so they can keep it from being revived. But that whole posture is specific for criminal cases, both the supposed onerousness of it and the dignitary cost that at least the court talks about for a president to be, under this scarlet letter of criminal liability. Of course, Trump is. There's no way he would love it, but there's no way to make it go away. He's been convicted 34 times. Be that as it may, it does not apply in the civil case. So this is an effort by his lawyer, his supposed, best Supreme Court kind of intellectual lawyer, to say, take this paradigm that is only for the criminal context and do it for the civil case as well. Now, to be fair, there's an argument here because this is a civil enforcement action. Letitia James brought the case and as the Attorney General, and it's for civil penalties. It's for money, but it's got a little bit of a flavor of criminal prosecution, and some of the acts that the whole thing is based on would be criminal as well. So in that sense, it's an argument one can make with a straight face, and John Sauer has. But the full-scale dressing up in the garb of Lincoln and Washington and the language of unity, really, after what's happened in these last 2, if not 9 years, is enough to really make it hard to keep your lunch down. It's just so incredible. It's clear, it's salt in the wound, and it is a wound, make no mistake about it, how he's totally escaped accountability. And now to, on top of this, be Mr. Unifier, except what does unifier mean? Give me a total walk with prejudice on this hundreds of $1 million civil case. That's how we're going to all unify the nation together. We'll see what happens with this motion. He's going to appeal it if it goes up, and maybe the Supreme Court would embrace it. Maybe the Supreme Court or Thomas or Alito will include some nice quotations from Lincoln and Washington. But if so, it strikes me as a poke in the eye with a stick to the Constitution itself. This is really some brazen lawyering and exploitation of the electoral result that has nothing to do with the law by Donald Trump. So it's something to watch carefully, and it's going to play out for a while, and you'll see similarly outrageous arguments and rhetoric. And I think I've done a decent job of keeping my emotions in check, and I'll try to keep it that way. But I hope you appreciate why I find it, especially offensive. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.